So I'm just gonna
Sonic $1.99
shut up. I don't care about this stupid ass shit. Faggots.
Greed.
I'm gonna fucking slit your guys' throats. You keep fucking putting that shit up there. God damn you. Fucking YouTube, Google niggers. I don't play with those faggots. Cocksuckers. What?
GameRanks presents the top 10 best city building games. You can even play it on browser, where it initially started back in 2012. It's grown and added features since then, and now it's a pretty robust game. You get to be the leader of an aspiring new kingdom as you guide it through different time periods, building up your army, researching new technologies, and giving your city new developments in order to survive in this harsh mix. Building up your army, researching new technologies, and giving your city new developments in order to Tomorrowland visually. This is a city builder that really tried to innovate and added some fresh new features to make the game feel new and unique. This is definitely one of the more brainy city builders where you really have to plan your buildings out and manage your economy very, very carefully. You basically start the game with a ship, and then you settle an island, and then build a city. And then the rest is history. And the coolest part is that the end game is really advanced, and it'll keep you busy for a long time. At number 7, we have Dawn of Discovery. This is a PC city and world building game with some elements of an RTS. This is a pretty advanced city builder because it forces you to make cities that feel like actual real cities that you have to connect resources from different places. You have to actually manage resources and trade routes with other cities to build up your own empire. This game has construction, economy management, discovery, negotiations and politics with other cities, and combat. The details of the cities you make in this game are immense. You manage everything from castles and city walls down to alleyways and harbors and ships. Dawn of Discovery is really cool because it's just based on a sense of adventure, and you really feel that as you play the game. At number 6, we have Vanished. Vanished is a city-building strategy game that starts off with a very simple premise. You control a group of exiled people who decide to move on and start their own land. And they start with basically nothing, and that's where you begin. And as you build up a city and an empire, you...
Hold on. Ah.
Bedside, Lieutenant. The Marine Corps Code of Conduct.
King Babble. King Babble.
Christian Lord, guide my hand against your Roman popery. And they may take our lives, but they'll never take
Our freedom.
on a mission from God. Entitled, You Want Answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land, where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon!
Coming to you live from his padded cell high atop Bethel Church, the most heralded, the most despised talk show in all of human history. This is the talk show hell hates. This is Pastor Mike online.
I like this one,
year
though.
later learn this, and then, you know, we're going to wait about 15 years, 20 years, and then you're going to learn this. And I have no idea why. It just never clicked. But I'm watching the video that I was playing before I actually go on the air. And in that, I was at Liberty Faith Bible Church, and I was talking about DNA. And I've got to find another presentation real quick. Let's see here. And I should be able to find it fairly quickly. If not for the fact that when, for some reason, Windows file thing doesn't search and find things very well. It doesn't. I hate it. I hate Windows file search with just huge amounts of anger. I hate it. Let's see here. It says there. You know what? That one might come in handy, so I'll leave it there. But anyway, let me
Fucking nigger.
put this up on the screen. Yeah, and I'll show you what I'm getting to. I was at this
I'm
point
gonna kill you.
in the presentation, and I put Genesis 2, 3, and 4 on the screen, and I told everybody, count the words now that Adam spoke as translated for us in our King James Bibles. And Adam said, and you don't count those, because nobody ever says, and Mike says, count these words. Nobody ever says that. You count the words that Adam said, and Adam said, boom, you start counting. This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called
Leather tunic boots.
because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And, you know, I always, in Sunday school classes and even in Bible college, the explanation was that they're too spiritual. And I hate their use of that word that way, spiritually. Well, that's a spiritual thing. It's not. In other words, it's not real. It's a metaphorical mind experiment. Is what they mean by the word spiritual. Well, that's a spiritual application of that, but it's not real. And when I thought about it, having been married for several years, I went, no, that's literal. That's literal. My bones and my flesh joining with my wife's bones and my wife's flesh created our first child that has our bones and our flesh in her. She has some of my bones and flesh, some of my wife's bones and flesh. She has all of that in there. And then all of my other children following the same suit. One flesh. And when you count the words here, it's 46 words. And the miracle of that is, in science, when the man contributes his DNA in the marital act 23 chromosomes. The woman, likewise, 23 chromosomes. When they are joined together, it forms the first cell of a human baby
We need some,
with 46 chromosomes, and the DNA, this is the miracle of it.
we need some
How
iron.
the husband's DNA and the wife's DNA, how they join perfectly together to give that child the look, the character, the aspects, the features of both the father and the mother. It amazes me. It does. So I'm thinking about this, and
Oh my god.
again, I never.
I'll be here at the back. anyways.
Never made the connection, but in Solomon's temple, you're looking at exactly what those two columns or those two pillars mean. In Solomon's temple, he built on the front of the temple, he cast two bronze pillars. They were 18 cubits tall, but they had a cap on them, a chapiter. Another word for that is a capital, and it basically means a cap or like a header. And those were 5 cubits tall apiece, and 18 and 5 we know is 23. So you had Jachin. So let's say that this is Jachin. Isn't that cool? And Jachin is 23 cubits. And this is Boaz. And Boaz is 23 cubits. And Jachin and Boaz together make up the temple of God in that one flesh that the evil people of this world, led by the dragon, the serpent, that old devil, Satan, that says, oh, it's all right to destroy that temple. That's not a real temple to begin with. That's not a real human. That's not a real person. We can't ascribe personhood to a glob of cells. Oh, yes, you can if you know what their DNA has contained in it. If people would stop and instead of just trying to promote their political cause out of ignorance and contemplate the fact that even that first cell of the initial conception of a human child is as much human as you and I are right now, because contained in its DNA is every skin cell, liver cell, lung cell, heart cell, bone cell, hair, eyes, nose, teeth, arms, legs, you name it. Everything that person is going to become is already written out in that cell. And that cell, when you get these liberal women who are all the time going on about it's my body, it's my choice, you just say, excuse me, it's not your body, because that child in you has its own unique DNA. And if we were to take the DNA of that unborn child and try to match it up with your DNA, it would not match. Now we could prove that the child is in fact your child. We could prove that the child is in fact whoever you think the father is. We can prove whether or not that's who the father is by using that child's DNA. But that child has its own separate DNA. by the way, I think, doesn't Jacob or one of them represent strength? Adam? And the other one represent beauty? Are you kidding me? And then Moses' tabernacle. The 20 boards that go down the north side, when you turn the corner, the first 3 boards along the back are on the north side. The 20 boards that go down the south side of the tabernacle, and the first 3 boards that are going toward the north are part of the southern boards. You divide that in half. You rightly divide it. So you have 23 boards to the south, 23 boards to the north. And it's the same thing, same equation,
that won't grant me access to
same
it.
meaning that contained in both halves of this sanctuary, this holy place that God built. You have in there the book of life, written by the hand of God, written on a scroll, and written in 22 letters because it was Hebrew, just like the 22 amino acids. And just absolute, it just stuns me. It does. I think now that's as far as I got. I don't have the New Testament, what they call it, which was, from what I could see, was the second temple that was built after the Babylonian exile, and the Jews came back and they laid the foundation, and they had trumpets and shouting. You ought to study that. If you're interested with the rapture, the translation, study when they laid the foundation, because they blew trumpets and they shouted, and all kinds of neato things happened on that day. So anyway, study that. But I haven't got that far with it. It just hit me just a couple minutes ago. Now, what else was I going to try to find for you? I am going to bring that one up. We are going to talk about that. And let's see here.
Flipper.
Probably, naturally, Windows won't find the thing I'm looking for. What I was going to show you, let me just try to do a Google image search and just make this simpler for ye all. Let's see here. Do this, and put it there, and we shall images.goggles.coms, and we will type in free.
I love this one.
Freemason Pillars of Jachin and Boaz, and somebody's already typed that in. So let me go to that screen, and we'll use this one. This is a perfect example. Now remember what we just said, that you have Adam and Eve, not Adam and
Steve.
Steve.
I kind of didn't think so.
Cannot have a son or a daughter. That's stupid. Somebody showed me, I think Sunday, a picture of obviously what was once a woman who trannied herself into a man, but she's still biologically a woman, and she's now pregnant, and of course all the news outlets are going, first man pregnant. It's not a man. It's not a man. say, is that going to hurt? Because if that's going to hurt, I'm not doing it. There's no way we're going to do it. We can fight wars. We can get half our body shot off, and we can go after the enemies and defeat them. But you can't stick us with a needle, and we can't get sick because we'll have to go into an induced coma until we're not sick anymore because we can't handle the fever and the pain, the body aches, and we certainly couldn't have a baby. We would just never do it. So anyway, that's the patheticness that this world has gotten into. But anyway, so you have Adam, you have Eve, and 23 chromosomes and 23 chromosomes, and they're joined together to make one flesh. And Jacob then 23 cubits, Boaz 23 cubits, and they are in Solomon's temple joined together. Now, the depiction that you see here on the screen is not the biblical depiction of Jacob and Boaz, because the biblical description
Oh, I got another one. Yeah.
said nothing about a globe of the earth and a globe of the stars. Said nothing about it. So we don't believe that was the intention of God. We don't believe that it was the actual construction of God or Solomon or anybody in between. That wasn't all of the original casting of the two pillars. Masonry added this so that they could link then those two pillars with their secret. When you know their secret, you can look at things like this and go, okay, I get that. I know what that says. So remember, Jacob and Boaz. Now, on Boaz, you have a globe of the earth. And so it represents, let's say this represents Eve, the female, the mother, and all the peoples of the earth inhabiting it. And let me throw this in too. Remember a while back, I did a study on the human soul, and we found from scriptures
In case they attack me while I'm eating.
the human soul is characterized as a female, a woman. And when you think about that, it makes all the sense in the world, because we have the typology of Christ, who is the bridegroom, the man. We have all of those born-again Christians who make up the bride of Christ, no matter if they're male or female. All of them represent a woman. And it's because Christ is not concerned with the flesh of any of us. He's concerned with the flesh of any of us and its gender. He is joining himself, or he is joining from mankind the soul of man,
Weird.
which is a woman. In Psalm 22:20,
21.
deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Now, the word darling means with the flesh of any of us. Because Christ is not concerned with the flesh of any of us. He's concerned with the flesh of any of us.
Oh, okay. I don't know, I think. What the fuck?
Up there.
Bedside, Lieutenant.
Hmm.
Marine Corps coded.
And she was not a daughter of Belial, because in the she was praying, and Eli the priest saw her mouth moving, but no words coming out. And he's like, "Are you drunk already?" And she said to Eli, "Don't consider thine handmaid as a daughter of Belial." So we know that she's not a daughter of Belial, which everybody who is of Mystery Babylon is a drunkard, spiritually. So, and a daughter of Belial, no doubt about it. So, then we have the Jezebel. That's easy. And Jezebel, besides, let's say, the soul of I've been watching a lot of these videos where people are going against their school board and telling them, "Look, you're putting pornography in the schools. You're guilty of contributing to the delinquency of minors, and you're guilty of trafficking pornography to children. You should be arrested. Why aren't you arrested now?" See, I've been watching this, so that's in my mind. So let's say that and believe it or not, a majority so far of the videos that I've seen from this one channel, most of the school board's women. Now, you take that for whatever you want, but it's just very curious to me. And let's say that all these women are responsible for allowing all of this LGBTQ pedo stuff to be put into these public school, elementary school libraries and read to kindergarten children. Those souls, those Jezebel souls, hate the Hannah soul. They hate, well, in the case of Hannah, Hannah's adversary was Peninnah. Peninnah was like, "Ha ha ha, I'm having all the babies. And what are you doing?" He obviously loves me more than he loves you. So Peninnah was
That's
of
cute.
that
I'm gonna let me
soul,
money loves you.
alright?
Nanny nanny boo boo, your face looks
Let's
like
say all
doo
these
doo.
school board members that are guilty of crimes and guilty of huge major sins. Jesus himself said, anybody harming one of these little ones, it's going to be better for them that a millstone be tied to their neck and cast into the sea. And here's what's interesting.
Oh, fuck
When
you.
look in Jeremiah, that is exactly the curse that God places on Babylon. Because he says,
I love that. It looks like a bird though.
all the evil that shall
His
come
face got
upon
that birdie
Babylon.
look. Birdie birdie.
And he said,
Birdie,
"Thou hast made
birdie.
the reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it in the midst of the river, midst of Euphrates." Boom. That's the same as what you see in Revelation 18, I think, and the same thing that Jesus was getting at. Tie a big stone around them, cast them into the water. They'll sink, and that's how it's going to end. So anyway, the evil souls of people all over the world. That's not just women either, but their souls are female. The collective of all of the born flesh out of it. So what's left? Your soul and your spirit. You are a lively stone. The people you know that are saved are lively stones. Let's say I'm a lively stone, and one of these, and God is putting us all together. And
Bite,
out of
get
all
over here.
of us, be one body. And that
Bitch.
body will be female, and Christ then will marry us. Now, I said all of that. So get back to this.
Motherfucker.
What does this mean?
God damn it.
It is the collective souls of all of humanity that has rejected the word of the Lord.
In the great,
And
in that great getting up morning, fare thee well, fare thee well.
joined and married to these things.
Goddamn cocksucker, I'm gonna kill you.
There's a lot of them.
I'm gonna build a defense over here. God bless it.
One star on the heaven. Now, what I just did. I'm going to reverse this. And let's say that
Fucking kill that nigger. Fucking honky.
the concept of Christianity.
Where the fuck is
that
he?
God is bringing together a bride for His Son. To me, that's the goal. That's the aim of everything that God does and everything that's recorded for us in our Bible. God is searching for a woman to be His Son's bride. Because remember what He said about Adam. Adam is Christ. It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him
Fuck you.
meet for him.
God damn it.
That, to me, stands out as the sum of the purpose
I've got to
of
get
God
me a shield.
of all the ages past, right now, and any age left in the future.
I
God
know.
is
Fuck.
one person by one person, building up the
What's a
house of
survivor
God,
thing? Survival thingy.
the body of Christ, that Christ Himself will marry and join with, and the two will be one flesh. Okay? So this would be us here on the earth, and instead of all these multiple stars, we would make this the sun, because Christ is the Son of righteousness, and
Let the
He's
sun
bride
shine in,
part. Psalm 19,
the
yes,
sun
19.
shining.
Reminded me, oh, that.
Oh, I love that song. That's my song.
Psalm
This is
19.
the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius.
Their line is gone out to all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath He set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a
Age
bridegroom.
of
Come out of His
Aquarius,
chamber.
age of
Isn't that something?
Aquarius. Bum,
Christ
bum, bum,
is the sun.
bum,
and the
bum,
bridegroom. So let's say instead of stars, and so this then would be why the two pillars are there in the front of Solomon's temple
Hit me.
porch.
Hit.
Shaken, strength, Boaz, beauty,
hit me.
joined together to make one body. Because when they showed Jesus the temple, and they said, "Isn't it beautiful?" Jesus said, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I'll rebuild it." You can't see it.
I don't want to kill you, dude. Don't torment me with that sound. Bite.
Made it that way. I'm the one that made it take that long. No, I'm talking about the temple of my what? Body. Okay? 3 days I'll rebuild it. the house at the Temple Lodge, you go up the staircase and you're on this platform, and then from that point, two staircases spiral up. Not just one, there's two. So on one side is Jacob, and it has 23 steps. On the other side
And I'll
is
just do
Boaz,
it.
and it has 23 steps. And you find out that Albert Pike, who wrote Morals and Dogma, get this now, his dead body is buried in that house of the Temple Lodge, standing straight up to represent, I don't know exactly which one he's representing, whether it's Jachin or Boaz, but there were two men who, I don't know what the other guy's name is, you'll have to look it up to see what kind of, whatever he brought to Freemasonry, but both of those men stand as the eternal pillars of Jachin and Boaz. That's, and I think I get this, because while our transformation and our marriage, so to speak, is with Jesus, who is alive forevermore,
Holy shit, there's a lot of fucking XP just waiting to be had.
both Jachin and Boaz in the house of the Temple Lodge
All you fags.
perpetually dead, forever dead, second death dead. You get what I'm saying there. So anyway, praise the Lord. Now, yeah, let me do this. We're going to talk about several people sent me some news out of Las Vegas concerning another UFO sighting. So consider this while I'm on this subject, and we'll move on to those. So this would be humanity here, planet Earth, and all of these stars are angels. Now, just because telescopes and scientific instruments and all of those things say, it's just a great big ball of gas and nuclear fission going on, and that's all it is. Just because they say that doesn't mean they are true. Let God be true and every man a liar. And I think that if you would just entertain the notion, let's say for a few months, let's just say for a few months that you decide, you know what, I'm gonna kind of forget what the scientists say about all the stars in the universe and what they're made of, and what kind of classification they have, and what kind of chemicals are burning inside of them, and so on. I'm going to forget about all of that, and I'm just going to tell myself that stars are angels, and just entertain that thought. for a couple
Okay.
months. And if you don't like it, and nothing ever makes sense to you ever from that point forward, especially when you read the Bible, do what you want with it. But play along with me just for a minute, okay? Or a couple months. So, these two pillars represent a joining together. A hieros together. Sacred marriage. Whereby
Oh, dog! I thought I was gonna have to kill you.
joining with all of those who are born again, past, present, future. But in this case, it's the evil stars. 1/3 of the angelic realm, which in itself is an innumerable amount. If
What's going on, y'all? Hold on.
overall count of stars is innumerable, then 1/3 of them is just as innumerable as the overall is.
Yeah, exactly. You would think.
Stars now,
Numerable means you can't count.
what they did in Genesis 6. Exactly. Because stars have DNA. You don't believe that? Well, let me ask this question. Does God have DNA? Does God have DNA? Okay, that's a big question, isn't it? If I said to you, or let's say you said to me, he doesn't, then I would say to you, how then are we born again? How are we born again? And from
Welcome
that
to the
point,
live stream,
you're
y'all.
going to have to make a decision in your own mind, or try to convince me
Hold on.
that being born again is simply another metaphor.
Breaking Voltex experiment.
That it doesn't
By
actually
2161,
You
mean
however, the chip
cocksucker.
being born of a woman, coming out of her bowel, born of a woman. It doesn't actually mean that. And that God is our Father in a symbolic nature. You would have to convince me of that. Because when I see 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 23, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible, and we know what seed is, right? We know it now. For the past 70 years, we've pretty much known what DNA is and how it works. So now we live in an age where we can't get out of it. We cannot get out of this conclusion. We cannot get out of this conclusion. Jesus taught in the parable.
Damn.
The good seed is the word of God, and some of it fell by the
I will not do
wayside,
that. I wasted bones doing that.
some of it fell upon stony ground, some fell upon good ground, and it brought forth some 30, some 60, some 100, and it's seed, and we know what everything in the world that is referred to as seed.
Go get him.
We know what it is. DNA. So either God has DNA, literally causing us in our second birth to be sons of God,
Fuck this, I'm out.
or God doesn't literally have DNA, and this subject of us being sons of God is simply make believe. And I don't believe that. I don't make enough money to believe that.
Oh, fuck. You
So,
fucker. Get over there.
what about lesser spirits? Do they have seed? No. Does Satan have DNA? Well, now, when God was dealing with Eve and Adam and the serpent, and he said to the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. And you'll say, well, you know, as his seed, you know, that's a, say it, that's spirituals, that's like metaphor. Why is it metaphorical when in the same sentence, and God doesn't even have to take a breath to say this.
He does take a breath. A comma is a breath.
Woman, and between thy seed and her seed, he doesn't have to go, and between thy seed and her seed. He doesn't put a pause. It's the same thing. If the woman has seed, and she does, as a matter of fact, not only does the woman in the conception process contribute 23 of her own chromosomes in each egg that is formed.
Now get over here. Fuck you.
Every human being
Good boy.
carries a unique identifier
You niggers.
in every cell.
We're not doing that shit again. God damn you.
That links them directly to their mother. There is absolutely no mistaking whatsoever who a person's mother is. And it's called mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA is just a group, a small cluster of DNA, of chromosomes.
We're gonna go back to the other one. You guys
that
like,
govern
comment,
the
subscribe.
processes of the
Oh fuck,
cell,
hold on.
that tells each part of the cell what to do with itself, how to do it, how often to do it, when to stop doing it, and so on and so on. And mitochondrial DNA, we know it for a fact, only comes from that person's mother. Only. So there's no way that any person on the earth could ever be mistaken who his mother is. That if you just sampled a mitochondrial DNA and match that up with whatever woman you think is your mother, if there's a match, that woman's your mother, and there is no doubt about it. If she's not your mother, it'll show up in that mitochondrial DNA test. I love this stuff. So when the Bible says her seed, oh, it's as literal as all get out.
Next part is stupid.
It's as literal
7552.
as politicians are corrupt.
9481.
It's that literal. Okay? So why can't the serpent seed be literal too?
9481.
Well, as a matter of fact, it is.
4744.
So, and I'm just running this.
2357.
I know some of you have heard this, but I'm just running through this, just for somebody
57 121.
that I don't know, maybe have never heard this before, and it's interesting to you, or maybe you're out there and you want a piece of me. Well, stand in line, and it's a pretty long line, so just wait, all right? Look at this. Man became a living soul.